Good Sunday evening, everyone. This is Senior Forecaster Cameron back here once again. I'm here to go over the potential of severe weather as we get towards your Tuesday night and the Wednesday time frame here. Now, I do realize it's 11 o'clock at night. The reason why I do these blogs a little later on at night is given that I like to give you guys the latest guidance that is available here, guys. So if I were to go do a blog rack at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you guys would be seeing the 18Z data. You wouldn't be seeing this. You wouldn't be seeing the 0Z data. So I want you guys to see that, get the latest information to you guys as possible here, guys. So I do apologize if it's a little late, but as I said before, this is regarding the potential severe weather as we get towards Tuesday night and early Wednesday morning here. Now, as you can see, the majority of Arkansas, in exception to northeast Arkansas, is under the slight risk for the potential of severe weather for Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. As I talked about last night, is relatively unchanged. But what I talked about last night is that there was going to be a big area of a marginal risk. So the marginal risk includes most of the natural states. So everybody's at least under a 5 to 15% risk area for the potential of severe weather as we get towards your Tuesday night and Wednesday here. Actually, regarding that fact, there is also an hatched risk out here in Texas and Oklahoma for the potential of significant severe weather as we get towards Tuesday in the Tuesday evening here. That will eventually push into the natural state. So there will be changes with the day 2 update. That will be available to you guys. Either you stay up with us next 2 hours, or you catch it first thing in the morning here. But the day 2 will be out for you guys when it comes out here right around 1 o'clock. So with that being said, this is the latest from Storm Prediction Center. They're mainly concerned about the potential of damaging winds and the potential of hail. They're not mentioning any sort of tornado potential in their outlook as of last night here, guys. So, like I said before, the potential of tornadoes is there. There's always an isolated tornado potential. But with this event, especially with northwest flow aloft, you're going to be dealing with potential of damaging winds here. Now, I am going to be going strictly over the NAM. I'm not really going to touch base with the other computer model guidance here, guys, because like I said before, we're about 2 days away, so I'm paying more attention to the short-range guidance versus the globals. But this is the latest from the 0Z NAM, and this is I believe this is the high-risk NAM. This is the high-risk NAM. I'm going to show you the high-risk NAM first, and then I'm going to show you the 12 km. Now, what the high-risk NAM wants to do, as we get towards tomorrow afternoon, there could be some isolated showers across the natural state. It shouldn't be anything significant here. That's just in response to your moisture return. Now, as we get towards Tuesday afternoon, temperatures are going to really ramp up across the natural state. And given what we've been seeing with the last couple of events, is that we've either seen an MCS in Louisiana that has completely robbed of moisture, or we've seen a lot of rainfall across Arkansas that has completely led to no instability, stable air mass, and basically a no severe threat for us here in Arkansas. This flow is completely different. This time it's completely different. You have no MCS in Louisiana. You have little to no shower activity across Arkansas. And all we're waiting on is a kick. So there's going to mean a lot of instability from Texas to Oklahoma to much of western and central Arkansas down to southwest Arkansas. And what ends up happening, if you go with the 0Z high-risk NAM, is that it develops a very nasty squall line that develops in Oklahoma and presses down into Arkansas, into western Arkansas as you get towards midnight here. Now, the first thing that concerns me, like as I just mentioned, is straight line wind damage. That's the very first thing that strikes my attention with this. Also, with that being said, there could be an isolated tornado risk, particularly in Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas as this line begins to materialize. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of things that need to come together in terms of the tornado potential. So I caught this question earlier about the potential of this being upgraded. If an enhanced risk is issued with day 2 or day 1, this is going to be extremely wind driven. I do not foresee an enhanced tornado driven risk area being put out. If there's a tornado risk, it will likely be between the 2% and 5% area. I just don't see a high-grade tornado threat with this because the winds aloft are going to be parallel to the front. Yes, you're going to have southerly to somewhat southeasterly winds, but the overall environment for the potential tornadoes is just not conducive enough. So there could be some isolated tornadoes here, but I'm very, 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 very concerned about the potential of damaging winds here. So if an enhanced risk is issued, likely for western Arkansas here, guys, and I'm going to go ahead and draw you guys my thoughts on if an enhanced risk were to be issued. It's going to be for western Arkansas, Oklahoma, northeast Texas, into southwest Arkansas here, guys. This would be the area that I would put an enhanced risk for the potential of damaging winds. I wouldn't put one for tornadoes or hail. I would mainly be worried about the potential of damaging winds. Now, that's not including for our folks in northeast Arkansas, eastern Arkansas, southeast Arkansas, northwest Arkansas. What will end up happening here is if guidance continues on this trend, that there would be a slight risk that would include most of the natural state, that you'll have your marginal, but there will be a corridor of where you could see the most significant damaging winds, and that's going to go from southeast Oklahoma down to southwest Arkansas and then down into Louisiana as time progresses here. The one thing that's working on our side is that the timing of this thing looks to be late Tuesday evening and into Tuesday overnight. If this comes in during the afternoon hours on Tuesday, somebody's going to get some significant damaging winds out of this, and that's when you start talking potential of a derecho. But with this coming in late in the evening into the overnight hours, when you start losing some of that instability, yes, you still deal with the potential of straight line wind damage, but not to the extreme level as you would deal with if it was coming through during the afternoon hours. So with that being said, you guys know we will be here all night long, Tuesday and Tuesday night and into Wednesday, to keep you guys ahead of the storm with this system here, guys, as it pushes through the natural state. I want to say, once we get past this system here, the atmosphere, the environment, will not be conducive for severe weather. So after this event, we should go into a drying period for us here in Arkansas, right? I know you guys saw with the 7-day forecast that Derek put out earlier, but we do not have any severe weather chances past Tuesday here. I know we're somewhat watching the first week of May. I've been seeing rumors about the potential of severe weather coming back the 1st of May here, but I want to see how guidance wants to do first. But with that being said, after this event, you should start to see more of a drying period across the natural state with high pressure starting to take control. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, when that happens, temperatures are going to rise. And in some cases, guidance is wanting to throw some 90s into play, especially across central and south Arkansas as we get towards this weekend here. Although it's a little too early to start talking about summer heat, but man, with that upper level ridge starting to take place, we could see some upper 80s, low 90s as we get towards your next weekend here, guys. Now, like I said before, that's the zeros in NAM. I'm going to switch this over to GFS because I'm going to come back to what I was talking about before with that potential upper level ridge here. But with that being said, let's go over to the NAM here, and this is what the NAM model does. Now, what the NAM model does is the 12 km, not the high res, the 12 km. And what it does here is Tuesday, most of the day, dry. The only reason why you're dry during the day on Tuesday is because there's a significant cap in place. That concerns me big time because that means your instability is going to go skyrocketing on Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening here. Now, what ends up happening as you get towards Tuesday afternoon, right around 3 p.m., you start getting your squall line. Now, this is where you have to watch out for the potential of some isolated tornadoes, is that as the squall line develops, there could be some isolated tornadoes, some supercells. And what ends up happening here, as we get towards 6 o'clock is knocking on the door in northwest Arkansas, near Fayetteville, Bentonville, Rogers up there, in far northwest Arkansas, down to Oklahoma and into Missouri. Now, as we get towards 9 p.m., it's now into northern Arkansas, southern Oklahoma, into the Boot Hill region of Missouri. And then this is where I have to watch out for the potential of damaging winds. And then it just continues to push down into the natural state as we get towards early Wednesday morning here, guys. So the NAM 12 km and the high-res NAM is kind of arguing with each other in terms of overall timing, but both are suggesting an overnight squall line coming through the natural state. And then afterwards, guys, as I said before, high pressure takes control, and that's the end of, and that's all she wrote in terms of severe weather potential for us here in the natural state. So with that being said, let's go to the supercell composite. I'm going to show you the significant tornado parameters. What I'm talking about with the tornado potential being low. And then I'm going to talk to you guys about next weekend in terms of that upper level ridge. And what ends up happening here is, as I said before, with the 12 km, it has a good bit that supercell composite across western Arkansas here, and it really starts diving down into the natural state as you get towards Tuesday night and early Wednesday morning here. Now, this is the instability here, the surface-based cape, if you were to go with the 12 km NAM, and this, like I said before, is what I am concerned about. When you have a cap in place throughout the day on Tuesday, if you have a cap in place, what's going to end up happening is there's going to be a lot of sinking air on Tuesday. So, in response to that, your instability values jump really, really significantly, especially when there's no shower or thunderstorm activity. What ends up happening is with a cap is like, let's take for example, you shake up a Coke bottle, okay, and the cap on there is the cap I'm talking about right now in terms of the atmosphere. Okay, you take that cap off, and your bottle is just going to explode. Okay. Basically, what that means is once your cap breaks or erodes with an approaching cold front, thunderstorms are going to erupt ahead and along the cold front, which means you will likely be dealing with a pretty enhanced wind threat Tuesday night and early Wednesday morning here. Now, with that being said, I can't rule out isolated tornadoes. Given the unstable air mass and somewhat favorable winds aloft at the surface, I can't rule out some isolated tornadoes here, guys. But with that being said, I just don't see this being a tornado outbreak, if you get what I'm saying. I would be more concerned about the potential of straight-line wind damage versus the potential of a tornado here. But like I said before, straight-line wind damage could be just as bad as dealing with a tornado. So, guys, be ready as we get towards Tuesday night and early Wednesday morning here. So, here's your cold front here. All right. Here's your instability. Now, this is what I was talking about here, and this is why Southwest Arkansas is highly favored in terms of the potential of severe weather as you get towards Tuesday night and early Wednesday morning. This is where you have your biggest instability. Now, it drops off as you get into northeast Arkansas. Now, the only reason why it drops off that much is that your moisture return is going to come in, but there's a surface high to the east. Okay, it's weak, but there's a surface high to the east, as you can see with the instability value. So the influence of that high being in place is going to rob some of northeast Arkansas from seeing the greater instability. Now, with that being said, we're still 48 to 72 hours away from this thing taking place. Instability values are not going to be anybody's friend. That's if the HR is not going to say anything about it. So, with that being said, what ends up happening is, in this perspective, you would have more southwest, western Oklahoma, northeast Texas, in the line of fire for the potential of severe weather, because here's your cold front here. Okay, you'll get storms start to develop here, and they would take advantage of all this instability. So this would be the area that I would put in enhanced. Okay, that would be the area that I would go under enhanced. As a matter of fact, let's take that back. I would go more here because, like I said before, you got more instability into western Arkansas here, guys. So this would probably be the area that you may see an enhanced go out for the potential damaging winds. It just depends on all the small mesoscale features that need to be worked out before we get towards Tuesday here, guys. So I'm not here to try to get you guys hyped up or try to start any unnecessary panic. This is just give you guys a heads up that if an enhanced risk were to be issued, it would be strictly wind driven, given what I'm seeing with Goddess right now here, guys. So with that being said, what ends up happening with the NAM model, it takes us out and it's completely done by Wednesday and Wednesday afternoon. As a matter of fact, the 12 km kind of wants to drag this out throughout most of the day on Wednesday morning before it completely gets out of here Wednesday afternoon here, guys. So what we're going to do here, before I get into GFS, speaking of the HR, this is the newest model of the HR, what we call the HR parallel. It allows us to take a look at the HR up to 48 hours out. Be it as it may, we're going to treat this as any other model. It's not going to be 100% perfect. I'm just going to warn you that now. But what ends up happening here with the HR is that, like I said before, just a cap in place. And this one thing I'm worried about is southwest winds. Southwest winds is notorious to having cap across Arkansas. And what ends up happening here is that it starts developing those supercells. And this is why I am super concerned about, one, the potential of damaging winds, but also your tornado threat. You have to watch this very, very closely here, because if this does not form into a line very quickly here, given the wind field, you can see a couple of tornadoes before this thing goes completely linear. So that is what Storm Prediction Center is going to be keeping a very close eye on here, is when does this thing turn linear? When does it go from supercellular to linear? That's going to be the ultimate question in terms of overall placement of enhanced risk, slight risk, the tornado potential, and all that. So that's what they have to keep an eye on here, guys, because if this thing has a hard time going linear, you're going to have a tornado threat regardless, because there's a lot of instability. Good, somewhat decent wind fields are not the most great. I've seen better before, but it's enough to give you guys some isolated tornadoes, guys. So that's why I'm saying I'm going to be very concerned about that. Not only that, but I'm also watching for the potential of hail. Hail is going to be a very, very big key play, especially early in the event. As we get into later on, it's going to turn from more of a tornado/wind threat to a more straight line wind damage threat across the majority of Arkansas before it gets out of here, guys. So with that being said, we're going to keep a very close eye on this squall line as it pushes down into Arkansas as we get towards Tuesday night and early Wednesday morning here. So just stay with us. You guys know we will keep you guys ahead of the storm. We'll give you guys as much advanced notice as possible here with this. So main threat, just going to go over everything before I talk about next weekend. Main threat with Tuesday night and Wednesday system. The one thing that stands out to me is going to be damaging winds. So let's go ahead and get that out there. Let's go ahead and get that right. It's going to be damaging winds is going to be primary threat. Hail is going to be 2. Tornadoes is going to be 3. Isolated tornadoes are number 3. I do not want anyone to let their guard down thinking, oh, there's no tornado threat. It's going to be, that's it. As I just mentioned, we have to wait and see what happens with this, because if it has a hard time going linear, you're going to have a lot of problems on your hands. Tuesday evening into Tuesday night. If this thing turns linear very quickly, then what's going to end up happening is going to be somewhat similar to what we just got through dealing with the other night. Is you're going to have a squall line that's going to push down into Arkansas, and with that squall line moving through and having all that energy gathered up from the afternoon, it's going to accelerate through the natural setting. We all saw what a squall line has done in Easter and the last event we just got through dealing with. It's known for producing power outages, wind damage, power outages, trees down, roofs being blown off. So with that being said, we just have to keep a very close eye on the situation here, guys. So just stay with us through this event, and I promise you guys, once we get past this event, we should go into a drying period for us here in the natural state. Now, let's talk about next weekend here before I end this blog, because this blog is about 20 minutes long. So we're going to get to the 500 millibar low. 500 millibar low is going to tell me everything I need to know. And what ends up happening here, there's your cold front coming through, so northwest flow aloft. And what ends up happening here is we get towards next weekend, a upper level ridge is going to basically sit over the southern plains next weekend. So with that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and take this out to the continental United States, basically. There we go. Alright, so with that being said, there's your upper level trough, okay, and here's next weekend, okay. The reason why I'm saying just be ready with me. There could be some upper 80s, low 90s, a little bit of an early taste of summer heat across Arkansas, because high pressure is going to basically sit over the natural state. So your storm jet's going to go north. Alright? That's going to bring, one, the relief from the potential of severe weather, and then 2, it's going to bring the relief from all this rainfall we've been getting. But anyways, there's your storm jet. Alright? And you're going to have a surface side that's going to basically dominate across the southern half of the country. Now, this will not stay in place. I promise you, this will not stay in place. It's not going to be a summer heat wave that's going to come as very quickly. take a look out west. This is what I am concerned about. This is going to be our next storm maker, our weather maker, excuse me, for our area here in Arkansas. That's going to be the first week of May. That's why you're hearing across social media why everybody's so concerned about the first week of May. Because what's going to end up happening is that this ridge is going to break down. Once this ridge breaks down and this trough kicks out, that's where you can look at the potential of severe weather from Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, Missouri, and into Arkansas, Louisiana, the southern plains. So we will keep you guys updated. We will talk more about that as we get past Tuesday. Let's see what guidance wants to do first about all that. But just keep that in the back of your mind, especially as we get towards the first week of May here, guys. But just don't be surprised next weekend we start having some upper 80s, some low 90s across the natural state. But I promise you guys, it's not going to be permanent, especially for right now. So that's all I got for you guys tonight. I do appreciate each and every one of you for listening to this video blog here tonight. I do apologize, it's a little bit on the late side, but it is to keep you guys informed on the latest here. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you guys tomorrow night with more on the potential of severe weather as you get towards your Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning. Thank you, and y'all have a great rest of your Sunday night.